Our Cleveland Cavaliers survived a sleepwalk to a 118-117 victory over the Charlotte Hornets in a game that felt like they should have lost it, 10, 15 different times, but they didn't because these Cavs are unbelievable. Anthony Moeglin alongside my partner, Spencer Spin Davies, here on the Cleveland Cavaliers on SI YouTube channel. Spin, your thoughts. Go.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, I think the sleepwalking thing is really well put. It's just kind of that time of year where it just is obvious they are just trying to get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't like that it's come in this fashion and that they're just kind of going through the motions right now. We were texting. Obviously, they went through it with the Bulls. The Heat are a little bit more tougher-minded team, and they've also been through the ringer like that before, so I don't think that really applies to them. But there's been a number of times now that we've seen slow starts, and then you've just kind of seen lazy passes, kind of telegraphed passes, and just not really sharp execution. And, again, just kind of goes back to guarding your yard, making sure that you're staying in front of your man and you're not just taking plays off defensively. Just one of those points of the year. I don't think it's indicative of who they are as a team. That's not the Cavs. We know who the Cavs are, and especially against higher competition. But this is the first time of the season where there's been multiple games where they have played down to their competition.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's any kind of sign of what they're going to do in the postseason. But at this point of the year, you got to say it, call it how you see it,
Yeah. And you are to that point in the year, right? You clinched the playoffs the other night, and you're looking at a game on national TV on Sunday night against the Milwaukee Bucks, and right in between it is a Friday night tilt in Charlotte against a team with 14 wins that you get up 15 points on, and you didn't play good at all even to get up to that margin. But you found yourself in a little bit of a dogfight. But the one thing that is really, I think, impressive and important, Spin, is the resiliency of this group because, we've seen it now a number of times. I don't care who it's against. Right, it could be the Celtics, it could be the Hornets, it could be the Heat, the Bulls, whomever. But this group does kind of have that refuse to lose mentality. And even tonight, for a game that for 47 minutes felt like they didn't care. They were just kind of sleepwalking. Darius Garland showed a little emotion at the end where he made a stop or got fouled or something and started smacking the ball off the floor and yes, this is important. And it would have sucked if the Cavs lost their 13-game win streak against a 14 win team, but they didn't because this group is tough and does have a lot of that resiliency to them.
And you just look at who the difference maker was down the stretch, DeAndre Hunter, going out and getting an offensive rebound put back, and then on the other end getting a stop on Miles Bridges, just all within the same sequence that really changed the game. And I also think that Evan Mobley making that three at the expiration of the shot clock was a huge moment.
That play was massive.
And I mean, let's keep it a buck too, man. These guys shot 50 free throws tonight. They got to the line like crazy, which is going to help them in the situation and getting downhill and drawing fouls and all that stuff, especially when, the offense was kind of up and down tonight. The good thing is there were a bunch of people in double figures. I think it was 7 or 8 players. So, across the board, you're getting those kind of contributions, but it's the laziness. It's the kind of, again, telegraphed passes, going where your eyes are going and not trying to manipulate the defenses and thinking that you can just beat them straight up. Just can't have that kind of approach to it. But they've been winning these games. The quote unquote bad games they've been playing, they're winning. So they're learning through winning. And I'm loving the comment section right now. Thank you guys for joining this. Really appreciate it. And we will get to these. But that's the first thing that really comes across to me is just this time of year, man. And I think even for us, man, like we are at the point where we're starting to see the birds chirping outside. It's getting sunny. Right. We're getting ready for March Madness, and the playoffs are only a month away. So you're just like, can we get there? Can we get there? Yeah. I'm sure the players feel the same way, but they can't take it that way because they're professionals. And, you got to learn from that, and you got to be more mature than that, which they haven't shown us any sign that they're not mature just until this recent stretch.
Yeah, and that's it there. And yes, like you said, Spin, appreciate everyone jumping in with us tonight. We already have a great crowd on hand. Expect some more folks to get on in here tonight. And when you are in, get into that comment section. We did a really cool segment the other day. Drop a question or two in there. We're going to pull them up there here towards the end. Give you our thoughts on whatever you're thinking, whether it be rotation, whether it be substitution, whether it be shrinking the lineup, expanding the lineup, whether it be a question on why the heck the Cavs shot 30 40% from the 3-point line and only made 11 threes tonight, or why we think the Cavs outshot the Charlotte by 30 free throws on the other side. So get in there, drop some comments, and I'll keep putting some reminders out there in between questions here. But it's been a good place to start here, or a good place to get into is kind of what you just said. Cavs really weren't smooth all night long, but they still put up 118 points, and they get contributions across the board. Evan Mobley, 19 points. Jared Allen, 14 points. Darius, 20. Donnie, 24. And then you get 15 off the bench from DeAndre Hunter in a sneaky 12 from Sam Merrill, which turned out to be really, really important as he was a perfect 4 for 4 from 3. Seemed to be the only guy who had it dialed in from deep tonight down in Charlotte.
And he's been, really big on the defensive end. And a lot of people just look at Sam as, all right, this is the guy that has to make the threes. And if he's not making threes, he's not getting playing time. But the truth is he's been a plus-minus wonder for them this entire season. Mm-hmm. And defensively, Kenny refers to him as the stopper. And I feel like a lot of people aren't understanding how good of a defender Sam's been, and just staying and firming up and bodying guys up, making sure that his presence is felt. Even if he's not the biggest guy, he's still out there making the defensive rotations. And then, on the other end, yeah, he's been kind of up and down with the 3 ball this year, but I feel like it's coming back. I feel like, the last couple of weeks you've been seeing him get more, I don't want to say confident, but he's just kind of getting back more to the release that's not so rushed. It looks like he's really in the flow of things, and he's taking some more confident ones, taking them more too. I think that's another big thing, is that he's willing to take those shots, and he's going to be a part of this playoff rotation. Like, people have to get used to that, and he has been a very crucial part to this team off the bench. So, we talk all the time about Ty Jerome and obviously DeAndre Hunter, but Sam just kind of gets lost in the shuffle a little bit, and he does deserve love, and especially in a game like this where no one could hit anything, especially Donovan Mitchell, by the way. My goodness, he was off tonight. he was bricking at the free throw line. He didn't make anything much from 3, and Sam had it going tonight, and that's big time, and that's kind of the part of what me and Spencer German were talking about on our podcast, Courtside with Cavs on SI, man, is just the reason that they're still on this winning streak is because of the other guys. It's not all the core guys who are playing their best basketball. It's the role players that are pushing them over the edge. Tonight it was Sam Merrill. The other night it might be Ty Jerome. Another night it might be DeAndre Hunter. And then other nights it might be Max Strus. Max Strus didn't even close out tonight. He didn't have the best game, but he's still been a part of this and a big part of this in multiple situations, as you saw against the Heat the other night, guarding Bam Adebayo down the stretch and making big threes. So that's why it's a team game. Everyone can't be on the same night, but when you're that deep and you're that capably deep, it's a big part of why they're on this streak.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Special call out here to Cameron, our first Hornets fan ever on the pod. Cam,
you.
Hornets fan. Congrats on the hard-fought win. If our coach wouldn't have wasted so many timeouts and half of our team being out, then we could have won. Congrats to the Cavs. Yeah, hard to argue that, Cam. Thanks for jumping in with us. Appreciate you wherever you are watching us here on the Cleveland Cavaliers on SI YouTube channel. And Spin, I think that you make a good point. One guy I want to talk about specifically is Max Strus. Now, when he came back, he obviously started the year injured, missed, 20 how many games?
A good chunk of the year.
Yeah,
just say a good chunk of the year.
Put you on the spot.
He came back after the New Year. Let's just say that, or just right as the New Year was coming.
Yeah. Okay. So he misses a good chunk of the year, and when he comes back, seemingly doesn't have a shot right away. Right, starting to find it, trying to find it. He's then got into this streaky shooting motion where it's either he hits them all or he misses them all. Tonight, 0 for 3 from the field.
But he only took 3 shots too. That's the other. That's
right.
Partially another problem. Like, you have to fire him up every night. I know you're not going to get the diet that the other, core 4 members are going to get, but you have to be willing to take those shots too. And you don't want to turn any down. And rarely does he turn them down. But tonight didn't really take too many shots. So that's another part of this.
What did Dion Waiters say? He'd rather be 0 for 30 than 0 for 9 because that meant he
stopped.
You don't like wait. Maybe pull back just a little bit off of that. But no, Strus 0 for 3 tonight, only 3 points, 3 rebounds on the night. He obviously, when he's on the court, Spin, he is an energy guy. He's a guy who's going to give you max effort at all times, no pun intended there. But he is going to push the limit every single time, which you appreciate. However, at what point do we get concerned about his shooting, his play on the court, or do we not get concerned because he's been an integral part of this team?
I don't get concerned because it's not like it's not like Max has to score all that much every night. This is why role players and playing roles exists in basketball. you have so many other options offensively to go and score for you. So if your most important thing to do on the floor is to defend the other team's best player, if it's to go and save a loose ball or from a ball from getting out of bounds, if it's just being at the right place at the right time for an offensive board or grabbing a defensive board after a stop, like those are the things that don't show up in the box score and that are crucial to wins. And it's a little bit louder when you see the kind of night that Max has on the stat sheet tonight, but I promise you, when you watch him play, he is all over the place. They're calling him Wild Thing now. I don't know how Anderson Varejao feels about that, but he's extremely crucial to this team. And you can't pull apart what is one, and also the other thing too. Like these guys, they'll go to battle for each other every night, and I think that that's another thing, and why Kenny likes to have Max in the starting lineup is because he is so used to playing with that core four now that they have a good cohesion together. And clearly by net rating, that's how he sees it too. Is it going to change in the playoffs? I don't know. Like against Boston, you're probably going to see DeAndre Hunter in the starting lineup, but against another team, will you see DeAndre Hunter in the starting lineup? Like you have options, you have different combinations you can go to. And, you saw it tonight too. Isaac Okoro's out there. I think it was Mitchell, Okoro, Wade, Hunter, Mobley. Like those are really fun lineups to experiment with still and to see the kind of results you get. So you're still in experimentation mode, but you're also upping the main guys' playing time, as you saw tonight. Like you don't usually see Jared Allen playing 32 out there. 36 for Don, 36 for Jared, for Evan almost, I think. So he's kind of ramping them up and getting them used to that load too, and also because they obviously were in a dogfight tonight.
Yeah. No, and it required it, right? It took what it took, and it required your guys to go for 30-plus minutes. First time in a long time, really, that we've seen most of the starters go over 30 minutes of playing time. Donnie leads the way with 36. Garland had 31 minutes. Jared Allen had 32, and Evan Mobley had 34. Now, I want to hit on a point that you just made there about the DeAndre Hunter, where he fits in the lineup. And I think that while you were talking there, it kind of answered my question a little bit about Strus, is because I think that DeAndre Hunter's value skyrockets when he's coming off the bench, right? Yes, he would be a great starter. He would fit really well in this group, but it's almost like an embarrassment of riches when you have that many guys on the court. And then what you can do with Strus, hey, if he's hot and he's on, awesome. Feed him the rock. He's streaky like that. Let's go. But if he's a little cold, you sub in DeAndre, and then that's what really has been propelling the Cavs to this point is like this bench group is just as deep as the starters. And when those guys come in, there's no drop off, right? It is, if you're playing like this, there ain't no drop off. It is, you continue on that upward trajectory. And I think that as DeAndre Hunter continues to find his role in this team, I think that also helps solve the question that I posed of like, hey, where does Strus fit in all of it?
Right. And you just have, again, it's the options that are helpful. To be able to have this embarrassment of riches that Cleveland does, I think that is something that's special, and you can utilize that all different ways in the playoffs. So at this point of the year, you're still trying to kind of find who that 9th and 10th man are at this point of the year, but I think you're set. You're set with your top guys. You know who's going to be playing for the most part, and now it's just finding who works with each other the best, and that's all it is. I feel like we should shout out to Jared Allen tonight. Another ho-hum, 14 and 11. I know he was missing a couple around the rim, but you also got to understand he's been dealing with that hand injury, and he's not really using the right too much around the rim right now. Like he still is, but you can tell that he's actively trying to, stay away from using it. And that was something that Mike Lucas from Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show brought up to me the other night against Miami. So just kind of keep an eye on that, making sure that he's not going to get that hand re-injured. He's very important to this team, obviously, on the glass, setting the screens, and making sure that he's there to protect the rim too. So, but yeah, that's pretty much my ultimate takeaways from tonight. And I don't want to say they're looking ahead to Milwaukee, because I just think it's just this point of the year where a little bit of it's lethargic, if that's a good word for it. That
was kind of one of the things that I took away too, was like it felt like they were sleepwalking the third, all the things that we've said to this point. Now you talk spin about JA going for a double-double. And before I get into this point, again, great crowd on hand tonight, just approaching 1,000 live viewers here at the 800 mark here. So as you're jumping in here, first of all, thanks for hanging out with us. Secondly, get into that comment section. We're going to answer some questions here in a couple minutes. But Spin, Jared Allen, 14 and 11. Evan Moeglin, interesting game from him, 19 and 10. He's 1 for 5 from 3, 6 of 13 from the field. Had moments where it's like, oh yeah, Ev's going tonight. Had other moments where it's like, come on, what are we doing, bud? But in the moment that we needed him the most, hand in the face off of a Donnie gets rejected. Shot clock winding down, hand in the face. Evan, nothing but net. After a game he hadn't made a shot to that point. Pretty special stuff there from number 4, and he continues to prove that he's approaching that stardom level in this league.
To do that in that moment was big for them because, they were in the midst of that comeback. I think they were down 9. Was it 9 or something like that? With like 5 minutes left. And, they just kept on kind of going at him, making sure that they're answering. Got a couple of lucky bounces too. Like Miles Bridges missed a floater. There were a couple of mid-rangers that didn't fall for Charlotte. So that also is part of this. You got to have a little bit of shot luck. Even though they were playing better defense down the stretch and locking down the stretch, there were still some shots that the Hornets could have absolutely made. So I feel like Evan hitting that shot in that moment just kind of shows you they can turn it on when they want to, but you don't want to fall back on that. And I don't think they will, but it's just like it's kind of been like that for a week or so where they have been just letting teams hang around that are obviously inferior. I know Kenny's not going to like that. I'm sure that Donovan is going to MF his performance tonight in postgame, if I had to guess. It's just the way he rolls. And they'll demand better. And, you're so you're set for Milwaukee coming up this Sunday. And then Tuesday, you have a battle with the Nets, who are never going to give up. That team is well coached, and they're obviously on the uptick with Jordi Fernandez at the helm. And, you get the Magic on Sunday after that at home. And then you're on a big, big West Coast road trip. Wow, I'm glossing over the Memphis game on Friday too. So you got a lot of games coming in March, and I think that there's also a little bit of fatigue involved in this too, mental and physical. But you just get out of this healthy. Make sure that you get back to your level of execution and focus, and then then you start to kind of smell the playoffs, and you're just preparing for your next matchup. But we're not there yet, and you can't fast forward time, unfortunately. The only thing you can push forward is the clocks, and they're going to do that on Sunday.
We're going to do that on Sunday. We're going to do that on Sunday.
Smooth, wasn't it?
That was pretty smooth. That's some big J journalism out of you there. Spin, we got a good crowd in here. Going to pull some questions up here. This is a good conversation to have because as we talk about the rotation potentially shrinking, potentially not, a guy who kind of needs to get a little bit, needs to start playing a little bit better here down the stretch run is Dean Wade. A lot of you folks in the comment section asking about Dean Wade here. Spin, what are your thoughts on Dean Wade right now as we stand here through 63 games?
Yeah, he's just got to start taking the shots again. I think that he I think he pump fakes a little too much, puts it on the floor. And I know that he's, able to dunk on guys. I loved some of the baseline cuts he had tonight. One of them, just a little bit too much of a hot potato for him. But I want to see him take 5, 6 threes off the bench. I don't want him to stop at 3 just because he missed the first 3. And I think that's something that Dean's kind of had an issue with since being here, to be honest. And I feel like at the beginning of the season when he was in the starting lineup, he didn't have that problem. He was taking more shots. And now, he's just kind of figuring out his role a little bit too, because DeAndre's playing a role similar to what he played. And you have Max back. Max wasn't back when Dean was playing at the beginning of the year. So like he's out there just trying to play defense, grab boards, which he's done. He always grabs boards, and that's pretty much his biggest strength. But he should, have more confidence shooting the 3. Let it fly with these guys.
Let that thing go. Another interesting conversation we need to have is on Darius Garland, right? Taz, appreciate you jumping in. You're with us every night. Thanks for getting in the comment section here. But Garland tonight, 4-10 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, only 1 rebound, only 2 assists, and 2 turnovers here. So, Spin, obviously tonight, not specifically talking about tonight's game, but over the last small sample size, last few games, Darius Garland seems to be hitting maybe it's the lull in the season or maybe not. But what do you think? What are you seeing out of DG here?
Well, we Spencer and I had a great conversation about this. 'Cause last year, he kind of had that middle of the season injury, and then obviously the problems off the court with with the personal reasons and stuff. He didn't play as much last year game wise as he has this year. He has also had injury issues in the past to where he's playing in the mid 60s games, like total games. So now that he's going through a season where he's not missing much time, maybe that's a little bit of an adjustment for his body, maybe for his mind too. But I'm just seeing like short arming a lot of these floaters. He was missing the ones he's been making in his sleep earlier this year. The ones like off high glass, turning the corner, like just a little strong off the backboard. He opened up the game great. He was, I think, the first 2 threes he made. I agree with Taz talking about him dribbling a lot. There has been a little bit more ISO heavy play for them as of late, and that includes Donovan Mitchell as well. I think they're at their best when Evan Mobley's the hub and he's using Max Strus as kind of a pitchback partner, and then you get the bodies moving and stuff like that. We have seen a lot of regular pick and roll with them. I love when they use Isaac Okoro as a screener, and put him in positions to roll to the rim. Like there was a beautiful feed from DG on one of those plays. Like, so DG's still got the feeds going. He's not turning it over all that much, but he is getting a little bit dribble heavy. And I think that the team in general is getting a little bit dribble heavy right now, which is something that we didn't see at the beginning of the season. But again, I think these aren't really habits that we're seeing come back to them. I just think that this is the point of the season. Like that it's all going to default to me saying it's March 7th and they want it to be April 14th, like.
Yeah. I also think, to your point though, it talks to the level of difficulty that Garland makes that float game look. Like he makes that look very easy. He's made it look very easy. And it's really hard, especially for a smaller guy like that when he gets in the land of the trees, to be effective and make it work. All right. Last one here. We're going to end with Donovan
Mitchell. Rapid fire?
We're going to go end with Donovan Mitchell here. There's a little tiff going on in the comments.
Oh boy, we got to fight.
I'm going to pull up Christian here, talking about Donovan Mitchell, 6 of 19, completely ball hog towards the end of the game. Will likely lose if Hunter and Mobley not saving them with offensive rebounds. I can get down with the second part there, but the Mitchell part of that, this statement here from Christian. And Christian, thank you for the comment. What do you think? I think that at some point stars are going to try or have to be stars of their team, but there sometimes is a detriment to that. Spin, what do you think?
Me in the middle ground all the time. He took over the game in Boston, and I don't think we were complaining then. He was making the shots in Boston. He did not make the shots tonight. He also should know that if he's not making the shots, that maybe get it to somebody else. Because, again, he was not great with the jumper tonight. He was short-arming free throws. He was bricking threes. It just didn't look like Donnie was in, peak condition tonight. But again, I think that you can live and die with your superstar in this situation. And the thing is, they still won. So I know that that's kind of a cop-out answer in a way, but I don't have a problem if you go down swinging with Donovan Mitchell. And I know that it's hard for teams to continue to execute the way they have throughout the entire game in those last 5 minutes. It's actually very reminiscent of playoff basketball because things slow down, defenses get set, and a lot of times you have to beat your man. That's literally what you have to do is find an advantage, try to exploit that and score from there. It's not a lot of free-flowing offense in the last 5 minutes of an NBA basketball game.
Yeah,
this is not
no doubt about it. The ball is going to find the stars, and our guy Jacob here kind of echoed what you said. I'm okay with Mitchell emptying the clip. No one really had it going. Don't hate that take as well. I think that's that puts it pretty nicely. So awesome night, or I guess I shouldn't say awesome night. I'm just used to saying that. We're getting on. I was looking at the score spin, and I was like, holy cow, I don't remember. Just because Spencer and I trade off, I'm like, I don't know if I've ever called a loss. I was thinking, I'm like, I don't remember the last time that me and you have been on where the Cavs have lost. So these are first world problems. Cavs escape Charlotte with a 118-117 victory. And the road is a fun one here. They head to Milwaukee for a Sunday night tip, 8 p.m. on ESPN against Giannis and the Bucks. That's a team that anytime Giannis is on the floor, you got to show up. So Cavs go to Milwaukee, come home for a tilt against the Nets, as been said. Then back on the road for Memphis, and then they go Magic, Clippers, Kings, Suns. So that big West Coast road trip here during March Madness that will be have the MAC tournament at the Q, or excuse me, at Rocket Arena. We'll get to that here. We'll go Rocket Arena next week for the MAC championship, and then if you guys didn't know, the first round of the college, or excuse me, the March Madness, there will be a region playing at Rocket Arena. I said that horribly, but there will be college basketball.
The Cavs will be on the West Coast for a long time, from March 16th to March 27th.
And West. All right, Spin. You just hit it. You got 30 seconds to talk Zips basketball. Are they going to make a run in the MAC tournament?
Dude, just so proud of those guys. They've only lost one game in MAC play. I will be devastated if they don't make the tournament. They hung around with Creighton last year, but they've played a completely different brand of style of basketball with Enrique Freeman, obviously, with the Pacers now. They are playing fast and furious. They're a top 5 3-point shooting team in the country. Really, really score-heavy team, and it's coming from all angles. I'm really excited to watch my Zips. I hope we win the MAC tournament again, and I hope that you see us in March Madness, and maybe we can upset a Big Ten team or an SEC team as a 13 seed. I'll be watching.
As no surprise to anybody watching, Spin knows everything about any basketball team in the entire country. Impressive stuff there. A lot of action coming to Cleveland in terms of basketball as the Cavs are heading west here next week. But all that happens after they take on the Milwaukee Bucks on Sunday night, 8 p.m. tip on ESPN. Through our Twitter handles in, through our X handles in. So hit Spin up over at Spin Davies. Hit me up at ADMegs_10. Head over to our website, si.com/NBA/Cavaliers. It's going to hit right below me, right about right here. Go over there for all of our written content. That site's full. Head over to our YouTube page, subscribe, like, review. Tons of content, from podcasts to coach interviews, player interviews, these type of shows. John Rudder. We never shout out Ruddy. We got to shout out Ruddy.
Mr. Game Day Report himself.
Unsung hero. Every single day. Game Day Report. Shout out to Ruddy, having some good content there. So we got content galore. Make sure you're hitting us up wherever you like to social media. We had an awesome crowd tonight. Thanks everybody for jumping in. For my partner, Spencer Spin Davies, I'm Anthony Moeglin. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the Cleveland Cavaliers on SI YouTube channel.